This conference will now be recorded.
I can't get my font bigger. It just keeps making this thing bigger. I can't get my font bigger. All right. So basically, I cut and paste from here. Right. I looked up, and you can do this on, like I said, AWS, uh, GCP, Azure, any other cloud instances. Right. And you can make your screen too. You can make your screen bigger. But if you notice here, it says, hey, to create an instance with the latest Red Hat. I'm gonna change this to 9, but it says to create instances, call example 1, example 2, example 3. It's like, hey, just put in those 3 names that you want right there and go from there. And if I want to take a snapshot of those, they walk you through how to do that, right? So real short and sweet. I'm going to put in another name so we can uh do. I could probably do some regular expression for regular expression to instead of typing these names all the way out, but I'm being lazy because I don't want to go look all that up. But we could do regular expression where we don't have to put in all of this stuff. So what they say here, create example. Okay, so we gave it the name right after the create. And before I hit enter, I'm going to save this. I don't know. You should be able to get one for free if you got a account that you haven't used. But let's do this real quickly. Um, let's go here and we'll make a new document. And I'm going to take this and put this over here. All right, so in my document that I have right here, I can make that bigger. All right, so basically, I'm saying G Cloud instances create, and I give it the 3 instances. I'm passing it the image name, but I want it to not hit enter on this just yet. Why? Because what I want to show you is if I do G Cloud compute dash dash help, right? It gives me what I'm able to do. Now, we've gone through this before where we start looking at the syntax of commands. You noticed I have G Cloud compute and then group is underlined or command is underlined. So I could pass it a group or a command. So let's go down here and look at commands. See. All right. So in saying here, you can SCP copy files over. I can SSH to an instance or so forth. But in our case, we did uh, Google Cloud Compute. And in our case, we're doing, let me see, I did dash that's help on, yeah, Google Cloud Compute. So now let's go back up because it's a group that we're looking at. So instances falls under, we got images, we got instance groups, and then we have instances read and manipulate uh, compute engine virtual machine instances, right? So I come back here and I do instances dash dash help. And now we have Google Compute instances, same setup, group or command. In our case, we want to create, and that doesn't fall under group, right? That falls under a command. So We want to create an instance, create with a container, delete, describe, right? So if I want to describe and so forth, right? But I want to give you those steps so you can see like what your options are. So now I'm just gonna cut and paste this back over here. So you see using the work machine. I'm gonna hit enter. Let's see if it errors out on me. Of course it does. It's not found in that region. That's what it is. So I am not in that region. What region am I in? I don't know. I may be, let me see something by default. I may be in the West. I'm not sure. US Central C. All right, so let's go back to our thing here. Up arrow, US Central C. Looks like what it defaults to. And I need to find out, oh, they don't have a rel 9 there. All right. I need to find out, it may not be in the area. I may need to go back to what I was at before. Rel 9 wasn't found. Rel 8 wasn't found. Who was I with before? A. Do. Oh, okay. So now we got to find out. It says the resource projects, blah, 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 images is not there. All right. So this is where you get fun. We need to find images. So GCP, find images. There we go right here. We can list the images, and then they got a format, value, name, filter, blah, blah, blah. This gets real deep into it, but I'm gonna cheat and we're gonna use grep. And then we're gonna grep for rel and see what we come back with. All right, so we got a rel 8 and a rel 9. So I don't know what it's complaining about. We have one as of 9/20/22. So I don't know why it's complaining about rel 9. So let me go back up. What did I miss? That's the image family. And you do have a 9. I'm thinking it might be my desktop thingy here. Let's double verify. Desktops, Women on Linux. That's what we got. Yep. All right. This is the troubleshooting session. Desktops dash women in Linux. And let me double verify. Image dash project. Let's look at dash image project. That might be a problem. So we're gonna do this right here. We're gonna do a with the E on the end dash help because we want to look up what is image project. Oh, my bad, my G Cloud. All right, so so this is the Google Cloud project against which all images and image family references will be resolved to. It is best practice to define the image project by running G Cloud compute image list, which we did. All right, let's go back and look at the command. The command says, oh, look, image project is Rail Cloud. So, all right. So we'll come back over here. We saw that. Y'all saw that, right? When we did the list, Rail Cloud. So it's not my project. It's the project of which it belongs to. And it can't find anything in my project because I don't have nothing labeled like that in my project. So we're going to do Rail dash cloud. And we should be okay at this point. So now we should be getting some output on 3 machines being spun up on GCP. Now let's go back to here. We should see those 3 machines spinning up. We should see the 3 IP addresses spinning up. Now, what if we were using Terraform, right, to do this, right? And now we have our machines spun up, right? We have our IPs here. I'm going to just take all this information and put it on my text file. Because at this point, I should be able to SSH to those machines. Hold on, I didn't cut and paste properly. All right, so I've cut and pasted this over to here. I have my instances up, right? They shown ready. Let me make this file a little bigger. Okay, there we go. So they're running. Here's the internal IPs, external IPs, the machine types, N1, standard one. And then I have 3 machines, Wednesday 1, Wednesday 2, Wednesday 3. Right. All right. So in theory, we're gonna SSH to 34 machines. So at this point, I should be able to SSH to this machine. By default, Google should have my SSH keys there, and I should be able just to log in. And now I'm on the box. I can sudo to root, and then I can cat etc red hat release. I'm rel 9, which is called plow. I can do a yum repo list, and then I have all my repositories that are set up. And we talked about repos last week. I can do a yum install of rsync, right? And so now I'm grabbing from the repositories that are available to me right now, and I should be able to install rsync. I didn't patch the dash y, so it's gonna do its thing with the repositories and go from there. Any questions so far? We spun up an instance from command line using GCP. We logged on to the box, and now we're getting ready to set up some SSH keys on this box and some users on both boxes, right? Remember, I'm doing all of this manual. This is a lot of manual work, right? So we're going to leave this one open here, right? And then I'm going to get another shell, and let's put that in blue. Is that too much for you all? Let me know. And then I'm going to close this down some. I'm going to move this one over. All right. And then I'm going to get another shell. And let's put this one in, I don't know, silver something. I don't like that one. Let's go with homebrew. That may be too much for you all. Green on there. Grass. I'm gonna put that right there. No, I'm not anti-Tmux at all. I just didn't feel like using it. It's just no, no, not anti-Tmux. All right. So in this case, I still have two more machines that I need to get logged into right here, right? So let's go here and let's just SSH over to that one. Boom. Yes. Do your thing. And then we'll come back over here to this one. Boom. All right. So we're in all three machines right now. All right. So I have all three machines open. And then now what we need to do is I need to create, we'll just create one user on all three machines. And then we'll make the password very simple here. All right, so we'll do here. I'm just gonna do user add. You should know. We'll call it what do we call this user? Smart user water. I know, complicated, but we'll be okay. I'm looking at a smart water. And password. All right, cool. All right. So you could literally take this here and let me sudo to root and cut and paste that there. And you can use Ansible, but we haven't got there yet. I'm just showing you all the manual steps here that you're doing repeatedly that you could then actually do something else. You can use something else to do this. So it's still a long way. All right. And then let's get our password and put them on these machines. All right. So then in the book or in the chapter, they talk about making SSH keys. And these SSH keys you're gonna need for Ansible. So on these machines that I just spun up, you can treat them as your environment machine. You can install Ansible, which may or may not be in their repos. Yeah, I figure it wouldn't be. Let me see. Yeah, I'm search Ansible, which is not in there, which is fine. Um, let's see. Ansible core. It's um yes. All right, so there you go. And you could have highlighted that last one and do it. And like you said, you could use Tmux, but it's fine right here. Repetition, baby, repetition. Dash Y. We just cut and paste that. All right, so you have Ansible core installed. You can see the number of packages that Ansible installed. I can type in Ansible here on the white screen. Right, so you can see Ansible is there. The other two are catching up, right? So we've installed Ansible. We've installed, we set up our machines, and now we need to create some SSH keys. The reason why I created those users on those other two boxes is because I need SSH keys. All right, so let me refresh this screen because they're ready to go. They're just spinning there. All right, so back here in the class, they talk about setting up your SSH keys. So transfer files between boxes. So they use SFTP where you can transfer files back into between boxes. Some people use SFTP, some people use SCP, and then some people use rsync. All right. And then some people use Ansible to transfer files. So here's the rsync right here to transfer files. In our lab or in our class, I actually have you walk through using rsync to transfer files. So create some files on a system and then rsync just locally to that. But what if you want to rsync to 5 or 6 different machines? Um, and I'll show you another quick, easy way with Google Cloud on how you can transfer files too. But for the uh, exam, you're gonna need these. All right, so here they're showing you right here rsync dash av v probably for both, a probably for all, and then notice the slash right here. So if you did var log, it would get the log, and then it would get the log directory, everything under it. When you have the slash under here, it's gonna get the var log and what's under the log directory, and they're putting it in temp, right? And then another one here, and they're are syncing data from var, and you see, and they're passing the directory now because the slash is gone over to a machine called host A, and then they're saying do a drop on temp. So we're gonna play with setting up some SSH keys right now, all right? So this is the lab to sync stuff, and go from there. All right, so back to our machines. Let me move this out of the way right now. Okay, so we've added our user, and now we need to, I need to log in as that user. So, and I forget smart water or something. So if I don't remember, I just cat Etsy password and just tell -n1, give me the last line, smart user water. So I'm going to now on here, I'll make this a little bigger so y'all can see. Maybe too big now, but you get it. All right, so let me go back. I want to sudo or su dash to smart user water. And now I'm gonna do what we call SSH dash, is it SSH keygen? SSH dash keygen. I forget. Yeah, SSH dash keygen. And some people do dash T dash RSA, but I think RSA is the default now. And you're gonna take everything default. You're not gonna put anything in there. All right. Boom. So now what happened? Well, what happened was prior to this, and I should have showed you this, you didn't have a folder in here called .ssh. And you could tell the time on this too. Oh man, hold on. And if I do a date, you see that 122:49 to 122, right? Pretty close, right? So that just got created versus these were created a while back, right? So if I cd over to this directory, you'll see I got a public and private key. I'm getting ready to um actually rsync, or not necessarily rsync. I'm getting ready to SSH copy ID this pub key over to my 2 other boxes, right? So we're gonna back out of this from being so big. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm going to do this, but also on my 2 other machines, I'm gonna su dash to smart water, smart user water. and I can't hardly see it myself. And then I'm going to do a watch ls minus LA. So that's going to give me hidden directories, right? So I can see. And here we're going to do a su-smart. I always get it messed up. And we're going to do the same thing there, right? Right. So we have this right here, and I'll bring the screen back over. It's SSH copy ID. And I'll bring this over so you can see it. I'll break it bigger. And we are ready to come back. All right, so we generated our SSH key. And now we want to copy this over. And basically, you're going to copy this SSH key, all right, all the way over to user, to the user and the host that we're going to, right? So basically these two machines here. And I have, I should have did a watch, my bad, on this one. And I have set up a watch so that you can see that these keys get copied over, right? All right, so that's the command. All right, this is gonna log into the server, copy the keys to the server, and configures them to grant access by adding them to authorized keys. And this copy may ask for a password. You'll put it in, and then from there, when I go to log into those machines, I won't have to use a password to log into those machines. I'll just log in. All right. Here is this file or link, I should say, for those that want to follow along. I'm not sure what I'm talking about. All right. And let's do a man on SSH copy dash ID. It tells you, I'm trying to see if it gives you an example in here. Yeah. SSH copy dash I, the identity file, and then on over. All right. I thought it was the pub key. I don't want to double verify. I thought it was the pub key, but yeah, hey, make sure I'm not crazy. Yeah. It's the pub key. All right, so everybody caught up? Everybody ready? So I'm gonna do SSH dash copy ID dash I for the identity, which is the file that we'll want to go to, which is under the home directory .ssh, and I'm in the directory. So let me actually back up so you're not looking like, hey, you're repeating yourself. So SSH dash copy ID, and I don't have to do the tilde, but I just give it the absolute path. And then we're gonna do ID.pub, and we're gonna grab this right here because I'm lazy, don't want to type that. All right, and oopsie, no. I just wanted the smart user water. It's okay. Smart user water at. Now I want to copy to the two machines that I had here. So I need to go back to my text file, and I'm going to copy. This is my first one. This is the 34 one, the 104, and the 104. So I'm gonna copy over to this machine. Right. Right. Boom and boom. What happened there? Smart user order. What I miss? Is that a space there? Mm-mm-mm-mm. No, no space. Uh, Now let me put it my dash on. All right, so now I need to. What it says? Oh, do 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 do. Oh, are you saying that I can't do this? They've already info. Oh, okay. So let me guess. Did Google already do that for me? Couldn't have. I don't see a dot SSH there. Are you sure? Yes. Info attempting to log in to smart to filter out this already installed. Blah blah blah. If you're prompted now to install, I did, and then it gave me a permission denied. Oh, Google, why are you denying me such pleasures? Yep. All right, so let's go find out. This should have been easy peasy. I know I do this on DigitalOcean, but I think there's a permission that you got to turn on that. So SSH copy ID on GCP instances. I think I can't do it this way. I think I have to literally go to the instances and add the keys there. But let me double verify. I think that's how to do it. It's easier if you install project-wide keys instead of public keys managed by the platform. You must keep the key. Yeah. All right. So Google does metadata, and they add it to their metadata. I forgot about that. You have to log in with their metadata and add it in. But I don't want to do that. I want to show you how you could do it with two instances. Mm-mm-mm. Hold on. All right. So when I say metadata, this is how Google does theirs, right? But I don't want to do it that way. Basically, you take the SSH key you generated, you go into metadata here, and then go to SSH keys, and then you upload the username and passwords, and it'll automatically add it to the machines that you have and so forth. That's the cloud way. You're not gonna do that on the exam. But let me see if we can get around this, which we can. So what we do is the hard way. Uh, I didn't want to do that, but we can. Um, we can add the key in via authorized keys. So let me Control C. Oops. Control C. Control C. All right. Copy keys to authorized keys. All right. So, this is the hard way. This I used to do it. LS minus A. All right. I should do ls minus 8 there. All right, so notice that the .ssh is owned by Smart User Water. This is the long way. The copy ID was going to do all of this for you. So what you do now is you say in the home directory on those other two boxes, you could do a make dir, and you could say .ssh and make dir. Okay, .ssh. Make sure I got that right. I know it looks hard on the screen, but that's okay. And if you do a LL or LL minus A, you'll see that it's owned by Smart User Water, and do a LL and dash A, and you'll see that .ssh is owned by Smart User Water. Now you need to go into that dot file, that dot directory, cdo.ssh. Nothing's there. cdo.ssh. Nothing's there. And now we want to vim a file, and that file we want to call it authorized underscore keys. And we're going to open up that file. That's the file we want to open. All right, open that file. Inside that file, we're going to go back over here to dot SSH, and we're going to vim, if we do a ls, we want to open up this id dot pub, and we want to cut and paste all the way. Don't get any white spaces after that last little bit. You don't want any white spaces after that. And we're going to cut and paste that in. All right. Now it's Google Cloud. This may or may not work, but that's the manual way to do it. All right. So right click and close. In theory, now, in theory, this may or may not work. And the reason why I say it's not in the metadata, I should be able to SSH to this machine as this user without any problems. Yes. All right. So now I can get on that machine without any problems. All right. So same thing with this machine here, the 104.234 from that one box right here. I should be able to get to that machine, and it's asking me, yep. And then boom, I'm on that machine. So I copied to all three machines, right? Manually, because I didn't want to put in the metadata. So there's three ways you could do this inside of GCP. Inside of GCP, you can go into that screen that'll show you with the metadata, and you can upload the public key there, and for all three machines, for the other two machines, and it'll give it access from there. Or, excuse me, you can come back in and create the files or the directory and the file that you would need, the authorized keys under .ssh, and just cut and paste that into the actual system. So now, because I have that, right, I could do magic. I could do wonderful things. I can now say, well, SSH over to that machine, and this is the last machine, and run this command, user add water. Right. Oh, I gotta be root. I forgot. That's okay. I gotta go back and add that in. But I could do it ls minus l on slash temp on that machine, and it's gonna print it out to the screen. I could also touch a file on that system, touch or create, and slash temp do you see me, and this is the last machine, so we're gonna clear, and then we're gonna do a ls, we're gonna cd over to slash temp, and we're gonna clear again. We're doing ls minus l. So here, if I do a touch on, if I do a watch on ls minus l, right, we should see a file pop up. And you saw it change, and you see, do you see me there? So I didn't SSH over to the box and then log in and do it. I sent the command over to do those things for me, right? So I can, now that I have my keys set up, I can also use Ansible to do things that I couldn't do before. Now, with that being said, Ansible needs Python on the source machine, and Ansible needs Python on the machine that it's going to. Why? Because Ansible is written in Python. Chef is written in Ruby. Puppet is written in Ruby. So what we need to do is um, we need to set up sudoers on our machines, on the two other machines, and we need to add ourselves, our user, our smart water user, to those machines as sudoers so that we can install packages on those machines, right? So let's do that. So how do we do that? So well, let's start here. Let's oh, can I do that? I know I can't. Yeah, that may be a problem. Oh no, I'm not logged in. Let me see. Who am I? Yeah, smart water. Maybe. Uh I added that user. Oh, you know what I'm gonna have to do? I'm gonna have to go back to command line. Let's go here and let's open up a new tab. Here. Whoa. That's whack. Basic. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm just gonna SSH to this machine because I need to be me. And I need to sudo because I need some privileges in my sudoers file. And I'm gonna look for root because I'm lazy. I can add myself to the wheel group if I wanted to, but I'm not smart user. It's a smart user water. And then I'm going to give myself some privileges. And I'm doing no password. This will come in handy when you are when you're doing this with Ansible. And I'm copying basically this line right here. All right, so smart user water, no password, boom. So now I am going to go back over here to this machine, and I'm a sudo su dash. Okay, no password to log in. Yeah, I can use Visual. You can use Visual Studio too. You can use that too, either or. So I'm in, and now um, what I need to do is do the same thing here. So, but I need to log back in as me. So, because there's no suitors there. So here, let's go back over to here. And then let's open up another terminal. Pro, that's fine. And let's SSH over to that machine. And I need to sudo to root. And then what you were talking about is Visual sudo. That guy there opens up the same file. If you look for root, oh, so what I did was I come down here one more. Well, yeah, it's on the same line right there. I'm gonna do a Y, double Y, and paste. And then now I'm going to put in smart user. Oops, I do that every time. And then I need to do no password. All right, so that was set up so we can actually, well, we'll write it again. All right, same thing. I need to go back as me on this one. Yeah, I get all colors tonight. All right. So now, all right, and go down one, yank, paste, and no password. Oops, got a T on there. All right. So in theory, we're all set up. And you see how long that all took, right? So in theory, I should be able to do this as this user. See who, let me go back up. I should be able to do um exit. I may have to put this in thingy. We're about to find out. Python. I may have to put in double quotes. Oh, okay. Python is already there. Okay. I'm basically trying to log in with the I'm basically running commands without logging in per se. Not on the terminal. Okay. So Python is there. Right? So we're good to go there. Okay. All right. So what we did so far, we set up the SSH keys, we got our machines up and running, we set up sudoers so we can run things as root. Ansible core has been installed. We are now in theory ready to make a playbook that will do our very first command, our very first thing that we had on our RCSA stuff. Right? Our very first thing, right? So in theory, we're able to come in and set up a playbook that can tell us what kernel is on the machine. We can turn off SE Linux. We can rsync at etc to temp. We could then actually get a list of files in each one of these directories and store them into a text file. We could set up a cron job on each one of those machines. We can open up a firewall port and ensure that firewall D package is there, started and enabled. And we can find out the default gateway and IP address and store all those and actually use Ansible facts in order to get that information as well too, or we can use our command line in order to get it. So come next week, we're going to um, go through this and set up an Ansible playbook to do all of the stuff in week one and then some. We are also going to, instead of using the command line next week to spin up instances with GCP, we will be creating a Terraform file. We'll use local storage for our backend, and then the following week we'll use the Terraform workspace in order to set everything up. We could still use Terraform Cloud to set everything up from command line. We could still do that. We'll do Terraform Cloud next week, and then after that we will start using GitLab to uh utilize things. I think GitLab probably like another 3 weeks out, but we'll use our Ansible stuff to do these things here. But you need to know what file do you use to turn excuse me, SE Linux on and off. What file, when you're setting up a cron job, how do you do that? What's the format? How do you do that? When you rsync a file, what's the format for rsyncing a file, right? You can look at Ansible stuff and do it all day long, but if you've never rsync, I would suggest you practice rsyncing. Like, how do you rsync a file, right? And then the following we'll say, okay, well, set up users that can SSH to various boxes. Look, we did that already, right? So now you need to go back and be able to spin up multiple machines, set up users on that machines, do a SSH copy ID, set up your SSH keygen. You can manually use SSH copy ID, or you can manually do copy the information over. Create a file in temp, add the following contents to the file. Now rsync that file from one temp machine to 15 temp machines. Would you write a for loop to do that, or would you use Ansible to do that? Or could you use Terraform to transfer the files? You could use either or, right? All three that you could use. And then it says install HTTPD, ensure that it's running, set up a service. You could do this via a script. You could do this via, like I showed you before. Tried to install Python, which was already installed there. You can run commands back and forth, but then you want to automate. You want a repeatable process that somebody could just look at your code, grab and change something, and then keep it pushing. Week 3, you're gonna do the same thing. Look, create SSH keys. Look, I went through that tonight. Install Git. You're gonna do that. Then clone this repository. I'm gonna keep updating this repository. I need to get back to that. Make a directory for Terraform. Then you gotta install Terraform ahead of the game, and then build machines using Terraform. So kind of in line with what I expected. Um, Here we're gonna get back to project management. You need to know that. Here we're gonna set up a HTTP server. We're gonna set up a self-signed search. You're gonna put something into a index HTML file. You're gonna render that back. How do you open up ports via GCP? You could use Terraform to open up GCP. You could use the CLI to open up GCP. How do you set up firewalls? Same way with AWS. How do you set up those firewalls? How do you do a curl or get to see if the website is up, right? How do you curl or use wget in order to do that? And then we are down here with Wireshark. Install Wireshark and do a TCP dump and play with the interface of Wireshark locally. Get your PCAPs, hit your machines, look for CVEs, install the old Rail 7 or Rail 8 box, and then look at the CVEs and the vulnerabilities on those boxes, even on your latest and greatest line. How to look at CVEs, how to find criticals and loads, and so forth and so on. And then destroy everything, destroy everything, and then we'll be back to square one, and we'll be back to, all right, now create a machine, run this batch process on this machine. It's going to eat up all the memory and all the data, all the disk space on that machine. Now, how do you troubleshoot that machine? How do you prevent that from happening? Again, what the things to look for? How do you use cloud services to alert you? How do you use local services to alert you? How do you set up audit and aid? We'll get into all those things. Since that audit and that aid comes from the security side of Red Hat and Stigs and so forth, but it also comes from um, the hardening of the system or protection of the system that the CIS templates automatically have in them. All right, I'm going to start recording.